Looks like the Red Sox are really interested in a reunion with Big Maple. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. The holidays have come and gone. We are headed straight for the new year without really any idea what this Red Sox roster or rotation is going to look like in 2024. The Red Sox still haven't made a significant move this offseason. However, what we have been getting in terms of Red Sox news, and I know it's always a bit frustrating to talk about this kind of stuff, but it's the only thing we have to go on right now, is who the Red Sox may prefer as they head towards the new season. And one of those names is a reunion with Big Maple, aka James Paxton. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down the level of interest the Red Sox have in James Paxton, what that could mean for a Red Sox reunion. We're going to talk about why the Red Sox may be interested in James Paxton, as well as try and figure out if this is a move we as Red Sox fans want or don't want for the Red Sox going into 2024 and why. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's first start by breaking down the reports that are linking the Red Sox to James Paxton, try and figure out where the Red Sox are really at. The first news we got about the Red Sox and James Paxton was when Rob Bradford tweeted out a report the weekend of Christmas that stated that the Red Sox are showing strong interest in bringing back James Paxton. Pretty difficult to try and read between the lines there, right? It's exactly what he's tweeting out. There's no innuendos. There's nothing to really take out of that a report beside the fact that the Red Sox have strong interest in James Paxton. This was then reinforced just yesterday by Red Sox reporter Chris Cotillo, where he said that the Red Sox have been in consistent communication with James Paxton and a reunion there is in play, but not a certainty. Basically, what we can get from reports about the Red Sox interest in James Paxton is it's sort of in its preliminary stages. They're in constant communication. They're showing strong interest, but we haven't heard anything about any offers on the table, and we haven't heard anything about truly them wanting to bring him back, but we do know they're very, very interested. And the question here is why? Why are the Red Sox interested in James Paxton? Because if you look at his 2023 statistics over 19 games, it's pretty average stuff. He finished the 2023 season with a 4.50 ERA. His FIP was a bit higher at 4.86, and he was giving up a pretty decent amount of traffic on the bases with a 1.313 whip. He was giving up about a 1 1/3 walks or hits per every inning that he pitched. This led to a very average ERA plus of 1.01, which is essentially 1% better than the average pitcher in Major League Baseball. Basically, he was a dead average pitcher in 2023. However, if you take a little bit of a deeper dive in his statistics, he was actually a really positive pitcher for about 70% of the season. In his first 13 games that led to his eventual 19 games this season, he was really productive. In those first 13 games, he had a 3.34 ERA and a bit of a higher but still really solid FIP at 3.58. He kind of anchored the rotation for a long time in 2023. On top of that, his fastball velocity on average was the highest it's been since 2019. He just flat out hit a wall in his last 6-ish games of the season, which makes sense. Paxton was coming off a Tommy John surgery. He hadn't pitched a full major league season since 2019. There was always going to be some durability issues over the course of the 2023 162 game seasons. If the Red Sox are truly interested in James Paxton, they're probably of the belief that 2023 was a bit of a warm-up year for Paxton, right? Considering he had not pitched a single game basically since 2019, there was a big probability that 2023 wasn't going to be the most durable season for Paxton, and now that he's got that out of the way and he's gotten used to pitching every 5-ish days, 2024 could be a bit of a different story. And to me, this is the biggest reason why the Red Sox are showing interest in James Paxton. They're expecting him to be a bit more durable during the 2023 season, and we saw what a durable and stamina-based James Paxton could look like at his peak in 2023, right? If you could get 19 full starts where he's sitting around a 3.34 ERA with a bit of a higher FIP, you're talking about a top-of-the-line starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. So it does make a ton of sense why the Red Sox may be interested in bringing James Paxton back. On top of that, he's also familiar familiar with the team, he's familiar with the staff, he's familiar with the approach that the Red Sox have right now, and he's been here for a little bit now. He's a veteran leader type in the clubhouse for some of these younger pitchers. There are some positives to bringing back James Paxton. However, there are also some drawbacks as well, and I think the biggest thing we need to take a look at in terms of drawbacks for the Red Sox and James Paxton are the two biggest problems the Red Sox had in this rotation in 2023, which was health and innings. In 2023, James Paxton was good for a lot of the season, but he wasn't exactly durable. Even during the time that he was performing really well, he was still only averaging about 5 innings pitched per game. That's just flat out not deep enough for the Red Sox, who during 2023 had 4, 5, 6-ish pitchers in the rotation that could only go about 5 innings, which absolutely decimated their bullpen by the end of the year and was a big reason why the Red Sox metrics pitching wise were terrible by the end of the 2023 season. The problem here is, yes, James Paxton may be more durable in 2024, but really the biggest question here is, even with James Paxton being a bit more durable, what does more durable look like for James Paxton? His peak year was in 2018, where he was averaging about 5 3/4 innings every single outing out there, right? He was almost making it to the 6th inning almost every single time, but outside of that, even during his peak from 2017 to 2019, he was still only averaging just over 5 innings per start. A fully healthy James Paxton really isn't going to truly bolster the health or durability of your rotation. He's only getting older and those injury risks increase, and he's not going to be a guy who consistently gives you 6 innings a game, which was a big problem for the Red Sox in 2023. The other problem here is that James Paxton, even if he stays healthy and gives you the innings that you need, really isn't a 1 or 2 pitcher. The Red Sox have a lot of 4 or 5 starting rotation pitchers right now, right? They've got about 3 or 4 that they could slot into that 4 or 5 spot. James Paxton's really not a number 2. He's really not a number 1, and all you're doing by bringing in James Paxton is reupholstering the back end of your rotation, which doesn't really need a whole lot of reinforcements right now. That's the other problem I have with James Paxton. He's just not a top-line starting pitcher. The Red Sox don't just need volume, they need quality talent, and while James Paxton could be that, the drawbacks that come with James Paxton, to me, put him in that 4 or 5 category, which isn't exactly doing a whole lot to move the needle in the right way for the Red Sox. However, there is one scenario where bringing James Paxton back makes a lot of sense, so let's talk about that and break down if this is even possible. The scenario I'm talking about is if the Red Sox are looking to make James Paxton one of 3 additions to the rotation this offseason. 2 bigger, more durable guys, and then James Paxton. I don't hate this addition at all if James Paxton is one of 3, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is because of what we just talked about. Paxton's coming off a year where 70% of the season he was a really solid pitcher, and he's looking to be a bit more durable in 2024, which even if he gets to 80% solid pitching in 2024, he could be a really great addition to this team. The second reason why I think James Paxton would make sense in this scenario is that he wouldn't be relied upon to be one of your top pitchers. In 2023, he was expected at some points, especially with Chris Sale down at one point, to be the ace of this staff, and in 2024, if they can avoid that, then James Paxton becomes a bit more valuable of a target. And the third reason why I think this scenario makes sense to bring back James Paxton is because what it does to the back end of this rotation, if you have a 1, a 2, Brian Bayo, James Paxton, and then a 5, you've got the ability to take some of your younger players, the guys who are valuable on the trade market, and utilize them in a larger trade package to go out and get one of those 1 or 2 number players that we've been expecting and wanting this entire offseason, right? If you bring James Paxton back, suddenly some of these guys who do have more value on the trade market become a bit more expendable. These are guys like Tanner Houck, who has a lot of value right now, Cutter Crawford, who has a decent amount of value right now, Whitlock, who I don't think they're going to trade but does have some value on the open market, and even guys like Pivetta and Winkowski become a bit more expendable because now you're pushing players back out of the rotation into the bullpen. Suddenly you can utilize some of these younger players to go out and make a trade. Now, if this is the way the Red Sox are looking to go about bringing back James Paxton, I'm all in on it, right? I like this idea a lot, but I honestly think this is the only true scenario where bringing back James Paxton makes any sense. If the Red Sox plan is to add 2 pitchers to this rotation in going into 2024, and one of them is named James Paxton. How much is that really going to move the needle for this team? James Paxton was solid last year, but if you end up with a rotation, say, of Shota Imanaga at the 1, Brian Bayo at the 2, Paxton at the 3, is that really going to be an improvement going into 2024 on the most important aspect of your team? I don't really think it is, right? Especially as James Paxton's going into his age 35 season, especially because even at his healthiest, James Paxton wasn't exactly the most durable, and especially because those are the 2 things you need to make this rotation successful. You need health and you need durability, and right now Paxton isn't giving you a ton of both. The difference between Paxton being a 3 and being a 4 or a 5 on this team is absolutely massive, and I think that's something the Red Sox desperately need to consider if they're truly really in on bringing James Paxton back. And again, we don't really know what the plans are for this, and we don't even know if this is going to be something that actually ends up happening. Right now, it's mostly just interest. I know people hate talking about interest right now. They just want to know what the Red Sox are going to do, but unfortunately, that's really all we have to go on. So overall, to answer the question, yes, I think bringing James Paxton back would be a really solid idea, but only if it's in a very specific scenario, which I do think is kind of a likely scenario to happen, and I really don't think the Red Sox are planning on relying on James Paxton to be your number 3, number 2, or number 1 pitcher, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about bringing back James Paxton? Do you like the idea? Do you not like the idea? And is there a scenario like mine that you would be okay with bringing Paxton back in? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox being extremely interested in the reunion with Big Maple in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.